Alright guys, this is David Hawkward, the Unicycle Fighter. I'm coming at you with a brand new video today. I'm here to talk to you about the solid state drive, why it's important, what the heck it is, and what you need to be looking for when you're considering buying a solid state drive. So first of all, let's get into what is a solid state drive. A solid state drive is essentially a hard drive. It's the long-term memory of your computer. Your computer can really be broken down in a couple different parts. Pretty simply, you have your processor, which is kind of like the brain. It does all the math. Then you have RAM, which stands for random access memory. Nowadays, most people, if you look at advertisements, they're just going to call it memory. What this is essentially it's short-term memory. And then you have your hard drive, which is long-term memory. And the best way I can put why it is important to have a good solid state drive is to put this in the process of maybe like if you ever go to a restaurant and the waiter comes to your table Bonjour. And their ability to take and remember your order effectively. If you have someone, right, who's taking your order and they have to write things down, right? And we'll say on like a notepad, this would be like your hard drive. This is the long-term memory. There's a physical copy. Even if that, waiter or waitress forgets your order, the short-term memory, they have it written down on paper. If your waiter writes really slow and you have a really specific order, it's gonna take a long time to take your order and then to hand that order over to a cook, right? Your hard drive, your long-term memory, is essentially what it does is it reads and writes information, okay? So it's very important to have a fast one so that you can continue to do operations and you don't hold up the whole business. A lot of people have this weird idea that, well, I don't do a lot of really big heavy-duty tasks with my computer. I just do simple things, browse the internet and look at my emails. Something to consider is that when Microsoft switched to Windows 10, this was a really big deal as far as the operating systems go. Windows 10 was a much bigger operating system, and the operating system, to put it simply, is like an owner's manual that you constantly have to reference as to how to perform procedures and tasks. Your computer has to read through this massive manual, which is why hard drive speed is so important. It's so vital right now, more than probably any other time. The reason that a solid state drive is so much better than what's typically referred to as a SATA hard drive, or most commonly you'll see HDD, that stands for hard drive disk, because there's a legitimate disk in there. Imagine a CD-ROM and almost like a little reader, kind of like a record player, right? There's a read-write head that has to scan over that disk, and that disk spins anywhere from around 5,400 times per minute to 7,200 times per minute just to try and get more read and written faster. So we're having to wait on this motor to spin. Anytime you have moving parts and you're relying on a motor, you're going to be slowing yourself down because we can only perform tasks as fast as that disk spins. And the faster that disk spins, the more volatile or unstable it becomes. Furthermore, you've always heard, don't be shaking a laptop around while it's on. That's because there's a disk spinning in there and you can cause issues within your hard drive and cause massive data loss, which could result in, oh, okay, I lost a couple Word documents, or you lose parts of your operating system or your registry or other issues and things that are very important to run your machine. Speeding up the motor on a regular hard drive is not really the answer. What the answer they eventually went to is putting everything on a chip, what's called solid state, because there's no moving parts. Now everything is recorded on transistors and on a chip, and so we have less moving parts. It also means that the slowest solid state drive can read much faster than your normal hard drive. We're not having to wait for a motor to spin, so it's a much more stable technology and it's a lot quicker. Not just for gaming. This is a common thing when I'm helping people with computers. I hear a lot, well, I'm not gaming, I'm not playing video games on my machine. Just running the operating system of Windows 10 is so demanding that it essentially requires a solid state drive. To buy a laptop or a desktop computer today that does not have a solid state drive, you're really putting yourself at quite a bit of loss. And just like having really big arms is not gonna fix the fact that I have really weak legs, having a really good processor or a whole lot of RAM or memory doesn't necessarily fix my solid state drive or hard drive issues. Those are kind of the upsides to solid state drives. They are much quicker and they're much more reliable. There are some downsides, and there are situations where regular hard drives are actually more beneficial than the comparative solid state drives. Hard drives typically can be a lot bigger. They are easier and much cheaper to make, so we can actually store a lot more data on those hard drives for a lot cheaper cost than what it costs to produce solid state drives. That being said, the most important thing about a solid state drive is to get your actual operating system on there. And you can go and buy a 120 to 256 gigabyte solid state drive from 30 to 50 bucks. Another great benefit to the older hard drives is they actually do, I believe, large file transfers faster. In an ideal situation, you would put your operating system on your solid state drive and do all your storage on the traditional hard drive, and you would have a multi hard drive setup. If you're buying a laptop today and you don't want to spend, because typically a multi hard drive setup on a laptop it can cost upwards of $1,000 to $1,500 and sometimes more. What you can do instead is find something that has a solid state drive only around 256 gigabytes and then add storage via an external hard drive, or they even make some really large size flash drives at this point. Windows 10 has really taken over as the default operating system for new computers that are being sold today. Unfortunately, solid state drives have not, even though Windows 10 virtually requires you have a solid state drive. Regardless of how powerful your processor is, regardless of how much RAM you have, it doesn't matter. You need a solid state drive to get the best performance and the best experience out of your machine possible. There are plenty of machines that do have solid state drives that are not going to break your bank. You can't expect to get a good functioning laptop that's going to make you happy for, $400. You are not going to get a laptop or a desktop that is going to give you what you want for $400 out of the box. It's either going to teach you patience, or you're going to end up throwing your machine, or you're just going to be very unhappy and not want to use your machine. And at which point, what's the purpose of having the thing in the first place? Spend the money that you need to get the machine you want. If you don't enjoy using the machine or the laptop or the computer or what have you, you're not going to use it. I've seen machines that are good from around the price range of $600 to $700. Anyways, I hope this was helpful for you guys. I always am trying to find ways that I can help people. My name is Unicycle Fight. This has been Tech Yes. Please go ahead and click the thumbs up button below. Give me a like, it helps me out greatly. And if you like what you see and want to see more information and stuff like that, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. You guys are great people and you do great things. Now go out there and make a difference.